Do you know who I am?
No.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
No, man.
People know me. I'm very important.
You get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
What is up, space pirates? This is your admiral, the engagingly eccentric Dr. Disaster, and right about now, I get to do a bit of a victory lap, as I'm sure many of you know by now, my favorite 3 words to say in the English language are as follows.
I told you! Yep. I told you!
You see, ever since last March, when Assassin's Creed Shadows was released by Ubisoft, we have been pointing out that the game has not been a success. In fact, it flopped big time for a game of its size and scope. Based on its marketing and production budget, Shadows needed to sell something in the ballpark of 7 million units at full price in order to break even, but as of right now, Ubisoft has only sold between 3 and 4 million copies of this game, and it's a game which should have been one of the biggest releases of all time. A Japanese Assassin's Creed should have been huge, but that game ended up flopping, even though the game journalists tried spinning the story so that everyone would think this was a big hit.
Eventually, probably soon, the world will recognize you for the pitiful disappointment you are.
But that narrative which game journalists tried to shove down our throats was BS. The numbers that they were using to spin the narrative were player count numbers rather than a sales count. And of course, that number, the player count number, includes people who were given free copies of the game, or people who bought the game and refunded it right away, or people who bought hardware and got free copies of the game with that, or just people who used Ubisoft Plus. And ultimately, narrative containment has broken down for Ubisoft because they just essentially fired the creative director of the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man!
Now, as I'm sure you will recall, the other day when we talked about this guy here leaving Ubisoft, I said that actually, make no mistake, he was being pushed out of the company because of the failures of Assassin's Creed Shadows under his watch. I said that the statement Ubisoft made about him leaving was just corporate speak, and that actually the dude was likely offered a position that was way worse than his previous job, which is the corporate version of firing someone at a high executive level, and they do this because they don't want bad headlines. A few people got pissy in the comment section of that video, arguing with me and telling me I didn't know what I was talking about because actually Assassin's Creed Shadows sold 10 billion gajillion copies, more copies than the number of humans on the planet, because even the freaking aliens wanted to play Assassin's Creed Shadows. But it turns out that I was right, and this creative director has just admitted that Ubisoft pushed him out of his job exactly as I said. He wanted to keep on doing Assassin's Creed, but Ubisoft said no, and the reason why is pretty easy to understand.
Oh, well, you failed miserably!
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've had a lot of people tell me that they have been unwillingly unsubscribed to the channel, so make sure you check on that, and also, give me a follow over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster1, and if you feel like supporting the channel and helping keep the lights on, consider becoming a member for as little as $5 per month. But anyways, let's take a gander at what's going on with this Assassin's Creed creative director. So, the other day, when this news first broke, this was the headline that was coming out on all of the mainstream gaming outlets. This is the sort of headline that Ubisoft wanted. They had just started this new Vantage Studio, which has control of the Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and Far Cry franchises, and they wanted to make it seem like everything was amicable, and they wanted to keep everything positive. This is what they wrote about Mark Alexis Cote, the now former Assassin's Creed boss. In an internal note to Ubisoft obtained by IGN, Vantage Studios co-CEO Christopher Dorenis said he was disappointed by Cote's decision and that the former leader had his own expectations and priorities related to Vantage Studios' creation and future. Following the organizational restructuring announced in March of 25, Mark Alexis Cote has chosen to pursue a new path elsewhere outside of Ubisoft, a Ubisoft spokesperson told IGN today. While we are saddened to see him go, we are confident that our talented teams will carry forward the strong foundation he helped build. We are deeply grateful for the impact Mark Alexis has had over the years, particularly in shaping the Assassin's Creed brand into what it is today. His leadership, creativity, and dedication have left a lasting mark on our teams and our players. We thank him sincerely for his many contributions and wish him continued success in all his future endeavors. So, as you may recall, when we read through this stuff the other day, I said that this is how corporations speak when someone moves on. They save face for the guy in the hopes that he will be as friendly as possible and not go to war with them, but the context is everything here. When Mark Alexis Cote became the head honcho of Assassin's Creed back in 2022, the franchise was just coming off its biggest release ever. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was a little over a year old when he took over, and that game was the biggest release in the history of the franchise. But since taking over, Cote oversaw the release of Assassin's Creed Mirage, which was seen as a pretty weak entry by a lot of people, and it didn't sell particularly well. But it did sell better than Assassin's Creed Shadows, moving over 5 million copies in its first 3 months. Shadows has not hit 4 million in about 7 months, and the budget for this game was freaking massive. And to top it off, this was the first game which happened almost entirely under the direction of this Mark Alexis Cote guy. Mirage came out a little over a year after he took over, meaning it had been in development long before Cote took over. But Shadows wouldn't have started development too long before the reign of Mark Alexis Cote. That game's results fall directly onto his shoulders. It was him that gave the green light to jump into the culture war shit with Yasuke in Assassin's Creed Shadows, and making sure that we don't have an ethnically Japanese male in the first Assassin's Creed Japanese game. And this not only sunk this game, but it sunk the American Civil War era Assassin's Creed game that they just announced was cancelled. With all of that context in mind, in my video the other day, I said that actually, when Ubisoft formed Vantage Studio, they basically fired this guy by offering him a much less prestigious title, knowing that people in higher up positions at these companies have too much pride to take a step down like that. Well, now, let's read this article here from Insider Gaming, where it looks as though everything that I said about this situation was confirmed. It says, down at the bottom there, the news broke recently that Mark Alexis Cote, a Ubisoft veteran and strategic leader of the Assassin's Creed series, had departed the company after more than 2 decades. In the reports that surfaced after Cote's withdrawal from the firm, it was suggested that he was offered a leadership role in the newly formed Vantage Studios, but wasn't happy with the position and stepped back. In a new post on social media, Cote has set the story straight and explained that he remained business as usual until Ubisoft asked him to step down. He expressly confirmed that he did not walk away from the company he has called home for 20 years. In a lengthy LinkedIn post, Mark Alexis Cote explained why he departed Ubisoft after 20 years, the latter portion of which had been spent managing the strategic direction of Assassin's Creed. In his words, it wasn't his choice, and he did not walk away willingly. Many of you have expressed surprise that I would choose to leave Assassin's Creed after so many years, especially given the passion I still hold for it. The truth is simple, I did not make that choice. Ubisoft decided to transfer the leadership of the Assassin's Creed franchise to someone closer to its new organizational structure. In other words, as I said before, this is the corporate version of a high-level executive being fired. He was removed from his position because he failed. This is just more confirmation of what we already knew, that Assassin's Creed Shadows was a gigantic turd that did not sell well. And then he confirms more of what I said. Reading on, the article says here, a different position was mentioned, but it did not carry the same scope, mandate, or continuity with the work I had been entrusted with in recent years, but I also owe it to my teams, past and present, to say this plainly. I did not walk away. I stayed at my post until Ubisoft asked me to step aside. So this was exactly as I said. Ubisoft gave someone else the position of Assassin's Creed boss in the new Vantage studio, and they offered Cote a lesser job that he was too proud to take, so he moved on. And the reason that Ubisoft operates this way is to try to maintain positivity. This way, it saves face for Cote, and he won't want to go to war with Ubisoft. But make no mistake, this is a punishment for the failures of Assassin's Creed Shadows. The Ubisoft ass-kissers out there can piss and moan all they want about the millions of copies that have sold for that game, but the fact is that my reporting on this game has been spot on all along. I try not to brag, but I am going to give myself a pat on the back here because I can read Ubisoft like a book. I predicted this game would sell a few million copies, but it would get nowhere near to profitability, and I said that this would sink their ass. And look at them now, scrambling for narrative control while punishing the people who failed them. But anyhow, I'm going to leave it there. If you have any mockery for Ubisoft or Assassin's Creed Shadows, drop it into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching me, Hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.